bosses, welcome back to PR Made Easy. This video, this is Prince. Say hello, Prince. He's being very annoying. He won't just sit on the floor, so sorry if he's distracting. This video is about a PR calendar and why your brand needs one, and how I can help you to create one, hopefully. Let's just look at him. He's so cute. Oh, so cute. And also incredibly annoying. I've got my bathroom's being gutted as we speak, so sorry if you can hear some background noise. Okay, let's crack on. So a PR calendar. What is a PR calendar? A PR calendar is basically a plan. It's a plan for your brand for the year. It allows you to create some focus. It allows you to plan. It allows you to be prepared. It allows you to stay relevant, and it allows everyone in your business should have visibility on it. If your business is just you, obviously that's just you. But if you have one or two people working for you or whatever that may be, they should all have visibility on your PR calendar so they know what's what, when it's happening, and can all be prepared for any sort of activations that are associated to your PR calendar. So to give you an example, all PRs who look after one brand, two brands, multiple brands, whatever, every brand will have its own PR calendar. It's like the absolute sort of 101. Like it's the thing that we all need, irrespective of campaigns and big events and activations that are happening or may be happening for a brand. The PR calendar is like a press office staple. It's what we all sort of need to keep the engine moving and to keep our brand in the press and to keep it relevant and to keep the news keep coming. And that's not necessarily just about new products launching, it's about new news and news hooks and all of those kind of things. So let's dive into PR calendars and let's help you to create one for your brand. I promise you it's not as hard as it may seem. Let's break it down. Okay, what I would start with populating in your calendar is if you do have any new launches coming up. So if you know that in March you're going to be launching a new product, or in December you're going to be launching something for Christmas or whatever it may be, I would start with populating the calendar with that information, because they're obviously big time, big moments for your business, and you want to be able to maximise them as much as you can. So pop those in your PR calendar. Are you going to have a press launch? Are you going to do a mailing? Whatever. That will come later. At the moment, pop that information into your press calendar so that into your PR calendar, so that you can see when that's happening. Now, the next thing that I would do, so say that's it. So you've got two launches for the year. So you've got two products launching and that's it. What are you supposed to do for the rest of the time? How are you going to keep your brand top of mind and in the news for, or relevant for influencers or journalists or whatever? So we're now looking at, just say you've got something launching in January and something launching in, I don't know, November, right? What are we going to do in February? What are we going to do in March? What are we going to do in April? Because really what you should be aiming for is one story per month, like one sort of general brand story per month that sits in to every every column that you've done, January, February, March, or whatever. Now, what I would do after I've popped in my newness is think about evergreen features. So think about features and news sort of agendas that just don't ever change, that they just happen every single year. So I'm thinking of things like Mother's Day, Valentine's Day, Christmas, what else? Easter. Like around Easter time, if you've got a product that's got chocolate in it or is called something chocolate, it's gold when it comes to beauty content around Easter, because, sorry, I just saw a magpie out the window. So, those kind of things I sort of call evergreen content. So it's features that are just repeated the same time every year. In January, it's always about sort of detox, new year, new you, a variation on that theme, but that generally is what January is about, sort of restarting the year, recharging, resetting, mindfulness, thoughtfulness, or whatever ness is the newness of that year. So that will sort of allow you to populate your calendar with key times of the year that you could create stories around. Because if you've got a brand that would make, say it is a skincare brand and you have a massage oil as part of that, as part of your brand, it's a really great story potentially for Valentine's Day. If you've got a product that's got rose in it, could be a good story for Valentine's Day. If you own a restaurant, Valentine's Day. Do you see what I mean? If you have that populated in your PR calendar, it will allow you time to plan when you can start creating stories and pitching to wherever you want to be with Valentine's Day stories. So I do, as I say, call those things evergreen, and I would definitely suggest that you populate your calendar with those. Just as a rough kind of overview, this is mainly for magazines, but roughly speaking, they all talk about the fashion issues. So the issues where it's all about trends and fashion and what's coming up for the season ahead will be the September issue and also the March issue. They're usually the biggest issues. So if you've got anything trend focused or anything, that fits into that sort of new trendy sort of storyline, then they're definitely the right feature. They're definitely the right issues that you should be looking at. Fragrance tends to be focused on in November and in April issues, so make sure you sort of populate your calendar with that as well. Just that sort of information, because it could be useful. The other thing that I would do is really look at some hooks that you can use to create news around your products. A really good sort of consistent hook, again, that's quite evergreen in the sense that it happens every year and is something that you can capitalise on every year, but try to do it differently every year or have a different angle on your story, are awareness days. So for instance, it could be something completely benign and like ridiculous, like National Lipstick Day, which is a thing, National Kissing Day, which is a thing, or it could be something far more important and serious, like Mental Health Awareness Month. So if you have a look, I'll include some links that you can have a look at where you can see what these national days are. But you will be able, any brand, whatever category they're operating in, will be able to get at least 5 awareness days or months that they can utilise as a platform to create noise around their brand or their products. So it's a really good tip, and it's so newsworthy. When it comes to trying to get into newspapers and stuff like that, another tip which you should also put into your PR calendar is something that is known as silly season, which is in August. And that's when all the politicians recess and go away for the summer, and newspapers end up with ridiculous stories in them about hamsters that have run marathons and I don't know, someone with the longest toenails in the world and all sorts of ridiculous stories. But for brands, the best thing for brands is that that's one of the easiest times to get news, PR stories into newspapers. So if you've got a fun story or a survey or, just something that's a bit quirky and a bit fun, pitch it in August, because you've got a better chance of getting in the national news, and I mean the national news, I mean the Daily Mail, I mean the Telegraph, I mean the Times, in August than you have at any other time of year. So definitely make sure that you put silly season and preparations for into your PR calendar. Okay, so as well as your newness, anything new that you've got coming up, and awareness days and those evergreen kind of features, I'm going to go through January to December really quickly and give you some ideas of what stories or hooks that I would look to create if I had, let's stick with this skincare brand. So January, I would be looking at winter skincare, protecting our skin from the external aggressors, and maybe creating a story that's about home protocols, stuff that you can, when protocols I mean like new massage techniques or 5-minute facials that you can do at home to really look after your skin because it's being battered by central heating and blah blah, right? So my January focus is going to be on facial skincare with like a new massage technique that I've discovered, or a home technique that you can do that I've discovered off Google or whatever, that will give me a platform to talk about my brand. In February, I would probably focus on Valentine's Day and look to see if I have any, as I said earlier, massage oil, if I have anything with rose in it, again, as I said earlier, if I have anything that's giftable, that could be something that a guy could buy for his wife or girlfriend or boyfriend or whatever. For Valentine's Day, so I would look specifically at gifting. When it comes to March, probably thinking about things like prepping your skin for spring, so maybe some kind of spring clean your beauty cupboard, right? Because most of us keep hold of products that are like half empty, or that we've used twice and hated and chucked them in the graveyard cupboard in the bathroom. So maybe a spring clean of your makeup bag. How clean is your makeup bag? How are you cleaning your brushes? Are you as I said, it was a skincare. I'm going slightly on makeup there, but with skincare, it could be about preparing your skin for the transition, like transitional skincare. So going from cold into slightly more like spring conditions, but anything to do with like spring cleaning and prepping for spring and all that kind of stuff is pretty good for what did I say that was? March. Yeah. And March, April as well is also when you can start thinking about Easter, and if you've got anything that is relatable to Easter. Also, there's Lent happens, where there's 40 days of giving stuff off or not up. If you're not religious or whatever, it's not your jam. Doesn't need to go into your PR calendar. I'm not saying that you have to, but it's 40 days of of Lent is and giving things up. It could be that you create a story around how to supplement, if you have supplements that are part of your skincare range during that time. I'm sort of just coming off this off the cuff, but you can see where I'm coming from. Then with May, I would slightly look, let's see, if I had a skincare product and it had an ingredient that everyone was talking about. So say, do you remember when avocados were in and everyone was talking about blooming avocados? I would look at what's trending in ingredients, look what's trending in formulations, and see if any of that relates to my brand. And if I've got a brand that's got avocado in it and I know avocado is trending, I'm going to make a story around avocado. Maybe I'll even press some avocado. I just read on the internet that Victoria Beckham eats 4 avocados a day. And actually, if I was a skincare brand and if I did have avocado in my brand and in one of my products, and I had read that Victoria Beckham ate 4 avocados a day, I would send 4 avocados with my product to a few of my target media and influencers, with a note like saying something like, well, if it's good enough for VB, something like that. It just helps you to stand out. You can have a bit of fun with it. You don't always have to be serious, but you have to be sort of intelligent in your approach. Okay, so April, May, maybe sort of June time is all sort of summer prep. Everyone starts to freak out, particularly women, about taking off their tights and getting their legs out and all of that kind of stuff. So I'd probably look at some sort of story around that and prepping the body for summer and taking it out of hibernation, and how to make your skin sort of come back alive, something like that. I'm quite obsessed at the moment with digital aging and UV and blue light, and how we spend so much time on our phones and on our computers, and how actually aging and damaging to our skin blue light is. So if I had a skincare brand, I'd probably look at creating a story around digital aging and how you can sort of be more mindful of how much time you spend on your phone, take more care and time for yourself. That probably could make a good news story. Also, something along the lines of self-care and home rituals, and just taking the time to look after ourselves a bit more. So all of us are on all the time, expecting to be multitasking, doing a million things at once. So I'd perhaps bring in a story in my calendar of how we need to take some time out, of how it's important to take time out, and how you can use my skincare to create home rituals that will help you look after after your skin, but also your mental health and well-being as well. That would make a really nice news hook and a nice story for a skincare brand. Some other ideas for populating the calendar could be around time saving and multitasking. Going back to what I said earlier, everyone's already doing a million things at once, juggle, juggle, juggle. You know, if we've got products that are that do 10 things at once and that can solve 10 problems at once and only take 2 minutes, or you can wear them while you're on the commute or while you're walking the dog, I would probably look at creating a story around that. Time saving. We also know, unfortunately, that we're staring down the barrel of a global water shortage. So I would definitely, if I had a product that was waterless, like a cleanser that gets wiped off by a cloth that doesn't require water, I would definitely look at creating a story around waterless products and using the very sad stat that we're facing a global water shortage as a hook to encourage people to make small changes to their routine, because all small changes lead to big differences. So I would probably populate my calendar with that. Then we're sort of getting into September again, August, all summer, 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 body, 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 self-tanning, prepping the body for tanning, looking after our body in the sun, not having too much sun exposure, how to look after ourselves in the sun, all of those kind of things. Incredibly helpful and incredibly newsworthy, and again come round year after year. So I would definitely look at that. September, again, that's where it tends to be more about fashion. October, Halloween, everyone loves a beauty Halloween story. November, again, more fragrances. I'd call out the fragrances that are in my product. I'd talk about layering and how maybe the olfactory system works, and how touch is so important in skincare, and how as a community of humans, we're losing that sense of touch, and how that's really important for us to make sure that we still stay connected with ourselves. So a way to talk about skincare, and then we sort of segue into Christmas and party prep and all that kind of stuff, and then recovery from Christmas and all of those kind of things, and overindulgence. Hopefully my sort of rattling sort of gives you an idea of how you could populate a calendar, and how you can really, even without heaps of new things to talk about, create new hooks and new news around your brand and your products that are going to help keep it in the news and keep your delivery of news to influencers and journalists consistent, because that's what they're looking for. They're looking for consistency, and not just for someone to shoot out of the blue every now and again with a story and then to disappear again. It just will do you no favours. So really think about your PR calendar, really take your time over it, don't agonise over it, try things. If you're a small brand, then you can afford to be experimental and try things and see what works and what doesn't, and adjust accordingly, because as I say, it's important to be flexible. Now, I will include a template, and you will be surprised at how super simple it is to follow, but do have a go at it, and really start to be aware of what you can start to look at what people's PR calendars are like, just by seeing the news that they're putting out at a certain time of year. So start to be more mindful of what other people are doing as well as yourself, but obviously focus more on what you're doing, and don't look to copy anyone else, because we are innovating and not imitating. Anyway, I shall stop because I have prattled on for far too long, but I hope you have found this video on PR calendars useful, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Thank you.